November the 28th, and this is Sunrise with Wayne and Pat.
And today is Giving Tuesday. As you can tell here in the background, this is where the DECA Club at Charles B. Aycock High School will be collecting funds and donations and waiting tables and getting tips. They'll be at PT's Grill today for lunch and dinner tonight for the 28th for Giving Tuesday. They'll be out there doing that, and they'll also be at the Pizza Inn in Pikeville, which is right there on Highway 117, Goldsboro Street, I believe, or Goldsboro Road, Highway 117, near the traffic light across from whatever's across the street. Okay, you ready for this? Here's what today is special about. No, here's what's special about today. Today is the 28th of the month already. Can you believe today is the 28th day of the month of November already?
It is.
Less than a month until Christmas. Yes! Woo-hoo. Okay. Today, you're not going to believe what today is. Today is Giving Tuesday. Why does that sound so familiar? It's almost like somebody just talked about it.
No, really.
Today is also the day at the time this was printed, they think it's probably going to be the lighting of the Rockefeller Center tree, and that's in New York City. New York City, and that's it.
That's it.
That's all I have for today. It's all I have for today. There you go.
Well, the special thing is Giving Tuesday.
The special thing is Giving Tuesday. That's today, and thank you very much. Here's today's trivia question. The category is U.S. President's Pets. One of our U.S. presidents, almost all of our presidents have had pets. Everything from you wouldn't believe to everything else. Well, one of our presidents had a pair of raccoons named Rebecca and Horace. Which one of our 44 presidents, there's actually 45, but one was president twice, which one had a pair of raccoons named Horace and Rebecca as pets? They lived in the White House.
I was fixing to say, where did he keep them at?
He kept them in the White House and they ran free. That's exactly right. And we'll have an answer for you near the end of the program. What's going on?
Steele Memorial Library has Battle of the Books that will be today, beginning at 6 o'clock this afternoon until 7. Get ready for your school's Battle of the Books with the help from the library. You can register at 919-299-8105, extension 3. And then on Thursday at Steele Memorial Library, it's Craft Club for adults. Make gift bags for the holidays from repurposed book pages.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That sounds interesting.
It does.
It does. I wonder what you're making.
I was just thinking maybe we need to run down there and catch this.
The first thing that came to my mind is taking pages like that and taking maybe a wooden box or something and decoupage. You ever heard of decoupage? Do people do that anymore? Where you decoupage something?
They have an image here, so I'm trying to kind of see what it kind of looks like, but I can't tell much.
It looks like an image.
It looks very interesting.
It looks like imagery.
And you can contact Steele Memorial Library at 919-299-8105, extension 3, if you're interested and register.
How about that?
I know.
Wow. Okay. What else is going on?
We have 2 blood drives today.
Pardon me.
Since he's about to die over here, I'll go ahead and finish telling you about them. We have one at Butterball Corporation at
Corporation. Butterball Corp.
Beginning at 10 until 2:30.
Corporation.
And then we have one at Carver Elementary School at 2 o'clock to 6:30. So you have one in the morning, one in the evening.
Is that today?
Yes.
Oh, today.
Today. So if you can't make this morning, you can make this evening. If you can't make this evening, you can make this morning.
That's brilliant.
I know. It don't take much.
No, yes, that was good. That was really good. Build your body, build your community. Until December 15th at the Goldsboro Family YMCA, they asked the question, have you been meaning to join the Y? Now is the time. Not only do you get to save, but you also get to help provide a great Christmas for local families in need. For non-members that wish to join or rejoin, the Goldsboro Family YMCA will waive your joining fee. Listen to this. This is good. They will waive your joining fee if you bring in a minimum $50 gift card from Walmart or Target and join the Y between November 1 and December 15th. So you only have about a little over 2 weeks. A little over 2 weeks to make this happen. You get to join the Y for only a $50 gift card from Walmart or Target. Now, how about that? That's a deal.
That is a deal.
They will waive the joining fee.
But you're also helping families out.
And if you don't have time to run out and get a gift card, yes, you are. You're also helping families out. It could save you as much as $100. Could save you as much as $100. And it helps families during this time of year, the special time of the Christmas season. It helps people. It could save you up to $100, and it'll make somebody very, very happy. And if you can't run out, if you don't have time to run out to the store and buy a gift card, well, guess what? Cash will suffice. They'll take your cash, and then they'll run out and buy the gift card. All right, all of the donated gift cards and donations will go directly to families, all of it, 100%, will go to families in our community that do not receive assistance from anywhere else at Christmas, and it will help gift them a holiday to remember. It will help to gift them a holiday to remember. That's what it says. Isn't that cute?
That is.
Okay. I want to remind you very quickly here that tomorrow is November 29th. Now, we knew that because today's, what's today?
The 28th.
28th, yeah, we knew that. Today's the 28th, tomorrow's the 29th. Tomorrow is a very special day at the Wayne County Veterans and Patriots Coalition in partnership with Goldsboro Wayne Purple Heart Foundation. They're going to have a presentation of the Purple Heart Monument. It's going to be set up across the street from the courthouse here at the Veterans Memorial Park. I'll get it. It's at Veterans Memorial Park tomorrow, beginning at 4 p.m. That's at the corner of William and Walnut Street, or Walnut and William Street. They want you to come out and pay your respects to the combat wounded veterans of Wayne County and the surrounding areas. We dedicate this memorial in their honor. This is for those killed in action and wounded in action as well. The Purple Heart Foundation and the Wayne County Veterans and Patriots Coalition presenting the Purple Heart Monument at the Veterans Memorial Park across from the courthouse there at the corner of William and Walnut Street in downtown Goldsboro. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. Okay?
How about let's go to the landfill? And we're going to talk with Tim Rogers.
We're going to talk to Tim Rogers now, who's the director of the Wayne County Landfill, actually the Solid Waste Department, which includes the Wayne County Landfill.
Yes, it is.
Today we're at the Solid Waste Department for the County of Wayne. We're here at the Wayne County Landfill. We're talking with Tim Rogers, who is director of everything. Hey, man.
Hey, Wayne.
It's so good to see you. Good to see you as well. We want to talk about, just in general terms, Tim, about the landfill, the Solid Waste Department, the convenience centers, and some of the programs you have put in place over the last several years since you've been director that have just really put Wayne County on the map, and I'm serious, in the solid waste industry. And it is an industry.
It is, and I appreciate that. We have worked hard to achieve some of the things we have, and of course I couldn't have done that without the staff I have. Everybody here bought into, let's try to get to the forefront of recycling, whether it be on the recycling or on the landfill side of it. We're very innovative in our gas recovery, generating power with that gas where we weren't before.
And you know, people are not even aware that you do that here, that you actually do generate power coming out of the landfill.
We do.
All right, now that facility is just off to the side of the landfill itself.
That's right.
The gas comes. Tell me how that works. Gas comes off the refuse.
Right.
Right.
Well, we have.
Is this methane?
Yes, it's methane gas. We have about 160 wells over the landfill that are pulling gas from the landfill to a central location where we've got 3 generators set up. They normally try to run 2 of those generators, which are 1 megawatt apiece.
Wow.
That's about 2,900 homes is what they tell me that equates to. They have 3 generators where if one's down for repairs, they can, fire the other one up. We'll keep, as far as production, will be the same. I'm very proud of that. That was a long time coming. It probably took us 15 years from the time we started putting the gas system in, which we were just flaring or burning the gas off.
Right.
That's how we were getting rid of it, to actually having the generators here and producing power. So that was a big deal when we got those up and running. We're really proud of that.
Oh, yeah.
We partnered with a group out of the UK. They came in, great people to work with, and they kind of helped us put all that together. And we get a portion off the revenue of the sale of the power, which is great. And they keep up the well fields for us, which is a good deal for us too, and a
so they do
large
this.
cost savings.
They're doing
to the
this.
county. That's right.
Keeping
they
up
do
with
that.
that. Are these the tiger wells that you told me about one time?
That we do have 8 spider wells.
Spider well.
That were.
What are tiger wells?
I knew what you meant, Wayne.
I knew you knew. Anyway,
You were
spider
trying
wells.
to throw me off.
Well, you caught me. Yeah, that's right.
But that we were the first landfill in the country to implement those.
The first landfill in the country to do that. To implement these.
And that actually worked out really well. And the way they work, instead of having a vertical well, where we're just like you would a water well or anything else, we
drill
just got a
straight down.
pipe
Right.
straight in the ground and it's pulling gas out. The way they do, they run the legs out horizontal, about 6 feet under the ground and in the waste, and it's run out 8 different ways. And they're pulling gas that way, and we're actually getting a lot more gas that way. So
That's amazing.
they proved to be very successful, and of course they're using them in different places now. But we were kind of a test bed for that.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah, it was
Running out in 8 different directions, hence the name Spider.
right.
But what used to be just an absolute waste of methane gas that's been turned around now, where it was burned off at one time.
That's right. We flared it for 10 years.
Yeah.
Just burning it off, but you had to get rid of
Well,
it some
everybody
way.
did.
And everybody did.
Everybody
The
did.
state mandated that, hey, you don't want it migrating offside and causing an issue
No.
somewhere. So you need to get rid of it, and that's what we did. But I'm really, really proud of the fact that we have been able to put that project together, and we've been very successful with that. It's worked out really well.
That's just fantastic, and it's producing revenue for the county.
It is. We get 3.5% of all the revenue off the sale of electricity. But the biggest benefit to us is, when as the waste moves in our sale, the state says, okay, you need to put 4 wells in now. You've moved far enough. It's been in place long enough. You're talking about a couple $100,000 per well. They're doing that. They want the gas. It increases their production as far as electricity. So we're not having to spend that money.
That's cool.
Also, they keep the field up for us, all the wells. They, if it needs new well head, new valve, we just call them and they come in and they do that. We do a system in the maintenance of the field. We have an environmental tech that goes around and checks. We have to keep our oxygen, methane levels checked and make sure they're correct. And we do a system with that, but for the most part, when it comes to on the money side of it, they're handling that part. So that's really saved us a lot
So
of money.
not only generating revenue, but you're looking at it at an environmental standpoint. It's
Exactly.
safer environmentally.
Very much so.
We're reusing, recycling that gas,
Exactly.
if you will.
We want to do
methane
that.
gas.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the byproducts of putting waste in the ground. You're going to have methane gas. So to be able to utilize that to something positive,
Yeah.
and to help power 2,900 homes that were having to use fossil fuels
Right.
prior. So it's great.
That
It's
is
a good deal.
that is great.
It is.
Tim, the area here at the landfill off Landfill Road, which is in southern Wayne County,
Mm-hmm.
there's a large area here. There's several hundred acres, but eventually, who knows when, we may run out of space. Is that a concern?
Well, Wayne County's very lucky. We have 1,000 acres here.
Okay.
So we've utilized maybe a quarter of that. So
Over what period of time?
we opened in 74.
Oh, okay, so the last 25, 35,
Yeah.
30,
Few
2
years.
years, 32 years, yeah.
So we're very lucky that the commissioners and the managers prior, when we had an opportunity to buy some property, they bought it. And they didn't look at it when we had 500 acres and said, we've got 500 acres, why do we need any more land?
Yeah.
When you're running a landfill, you want all the land you can get, because if you have to start buying cover material, soil, it can get very expensive, obviously, if you're having to buy every truckload of dirt this you're using for daily cover. So we have the material here to do that. That's allowed us to stay viable as a landfill, and it saves us a lot of money as far as operating costs, which helps us continue to be the lowest price per ton in the state. It's $31.50. There's no one lower than we are.
Really?
But that's why our costs are lower, because we don't have to buy a lot of soil. We have a lot of things we need right here, so that helps a lot, because it takes a lot of dirt. You have to cover, you cover that waste every evening.
Right.
Now we use a tarp instead of dirt in the afternoons, but still, as you're moving, we have to put, our tarp is 150 by 150.
Whoa.
So, but any area larger than that, we have to cover with soil. Everything has to be covered when we leave here.
That's 62,000 square feet,
It is.
isn't it? Or is it 6,200? Maybe 6,200 square feet. 150 by 150, that's big.
150 by 100, I'd have to get a calculator. I'm
65,
sorry.
So beyond my thinking this morning, it is still morning, and we're not. But anyway, that's a big area. But now, I would have to say that most people probably do not think about this. But when you cover an area, once that area is completely covered with waste, you go up from there.
That's right.
It's like you're like building a building.
That's right.
You got different stories, and that's
You
one
have
reason we see
different lifts. Our lifts
yeah.
are about 10 to 12 foot, and we'll continue until we're at 168 foot when we're done with the 3 cells. We're in cell number 3 now.
Yeah.
We're over, it's 66 acres total, all 3 cells, and we'll just continue to go up.
Go straight up.
So
you're building mountains here.
that's right. There will be a mountain when we get done. But they're estimating it will take us 40 years to fill where we are now, with all our lifts.
Okay.
Of course, we've got plenty of land, so if we need in that time to build a 4th cell, it wouldn't be a problem. I feel like in 40 years we won't be putting waste in the ground anymore. If you look at where we've been in the last 40 years, I think they'll probably have a plasma arc furnace or something across the road, and that's what we'll be doing with it. And that's kind of what they're going to now. I know Asia has kind of developed that technology and kind of perfected it in a way. They've got a little ways to go, and it's very expensive. But I mean, it's
Now we're talking about the future of waste here. We're
true.
talking about something that is a science fiction kind of thing coming from the future.
True.
We're looking at plasma. What?
Plasma arc.
Plasma arc. Now, is the land across the road ours as well?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
So you're talking about perhaps putting something over there.
I think eventually that's what'll happen. It may not be here.
Well,
I
we're
mean, it
just
may be a
speculating.
regional thing. Yeah, who
We're just
knows in
speculating.
30,
We're
40
guessing
years.
here. Yeah, who knows?
But I think by that time, although, if you look at Wayne County, we're in really good shape, but there's a lot of counties that are not.
That are not, yeah.
So they're going to be looking at an alternative, and we can't keep putting it on a train and traveling some counties 600-700 miles.
Yeah.
One way to get rid of the waste. They're not going to, eventually it'll get to the point where we'll have to do something else. I think that's one of the alternatives that I think they'll probably go to, because it is such a hot, it's so hot, and then incinerates it to such a small amount, and then you'll have that little bit of ash material left that you'll landfill, but it'll be, you know, if anybody's ever burned a big pile of leaves, you know, it'll be 10 times more than that.
Well,
And, you know,
I had no idea. Of course, you're in the business, and I had no idea that that was even a possibility, that down the road, 40, 50 years from now, we could put an incinerator up there and totally disintegrate.
right. And they've had incinerators before where they would burn the trash, and but this technology that they're have came up with now is so much more efficient on what it's doing. It's cleaner, and what you have left after the process is a very small amount. I mean, it is pretty much disposing of everything when it runs through it.
Now that's exciting.
So yeah, so you know, you take, you know, you put, you know, 400 tons in, you know, and you get 400 pounds out. I mean, you know, obviously
Right.
that's a big deal. So, and when that would come about, I'm not sure, obviously, but they already have the technology. By the time necessity brings it to us, there's no telling how advanced it'll be.
Well, here's what I see. I see building that unit across the street here, and then we take refuse from other counties at a cost to those counties.
Well, and I think that's a very good possibility. Exactly how
And
it
it would
happen.
save them-
It would be a region, because we couldn't afford to do it.
For everybody.
We don't have enough waste to do it. We
Right.
don't have the volume. So yes, it would have to be all the surrounding counties kind of going in together.
Yeah.
And you know, I probably see it as similar to our gas project, where
Right,
you would obviously have a
exactly.
company come in and said, we'll do this, but we need 3,000 tons a day for it to be viable. Then we would have to get together with surrounding counties and say, hey, you know, and it may, like I said, it may not be here. It may be maybe in one of the other counties, but I think
Well,
that's
no,
where
it
we'll
doesn't
end
wanna-
up going.
We don't want it to go anywhere
Well,
else.
I hope
This
they'll
would be
look
the
at us
best-
and say, we've got plenty of land, and we've
Yeah,
got a
this is the
landfill
best
right across.
location right here.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. You've
Yeah.
got a landfill right across the road. I
Yeah,
mean, I think,
exactly.
you know.
And
yeah.
we're centrally located in eastern North Carolina.
Yeah, yeah.
We could take refuse from any county, but I see it as a revenue generator as well.
Right,
The
absolutely.
purpose would be, of course, to get rid of all the,
Well,
excess.
it would help offset Wayne County's cost.
yeah.
Because that, you know, and obviously if you're trying to get industry and different companies to come into the county, I think that our tipping rates being as low as they are helps. I mean, that's a positive.
Oh, yeah,
you know.
it's definitely
If you're got a manufacturing process and you've got some end product that you got to get rid of.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's important. So,
Sure.
and we've done a really good job. Thanks to the commissioner's foresight years ago to say, hey, we need to get this land bought up, and so we're in really good shape. We're probably in good a shape as anybody in the state. You know, I don't know of anybody that has any more land than we have, not a municipal landfill. Now, some of the private, you know, waste centers, BFIs, they're huge corporations. Yes, they you know, that's a little different. But as far as countywide go, I mean, I don't think there's anybody anymore, you know, better equipped to do what we're doing than Wayne County.
Let me switch gears on you here. Some time ago, you decided that, you know, we have our citizens taking things all the way in the back, climbing the muddy hills and getting out in the dirt and getting out in the trash and everything like that. You put a stop to that.
We did, and the reason we did that was two reasons. One, I mean, nobody wants to go back there, you know, and follow those big trucks in and out.
Right.
You're right, it's muddy
Yeah.
a lot back there, because when it rains, it takes a little while to dry out. But also there's a safety aspect there too. You've got people that are not familiar with their surroundings. They're going back there, and you've got all this heavy equipment running around, big garbage trucks running around, and they're trying to find, hey, where do I go? And
You can
it's
get
not
lost
their
back
fault.
there.
I came down here before I worked here years ago now,
Yeah.
but I mean, I know the feeling. You know, you're like, I think this is where I should be. So we had people getting lost, and I was scared that, you know, they were going to be somewhere they weren't supposed to be, and that piece of heavy equipment ends up, they go around a corner and you end up having an accident. So we spent the money. Luckily, the manager at the time and the commissioners agreed it was a good idea. And we spent the money and built a site here right beside the scales where they could pull on the scales. We'll weigh them. And they can go right around. It's you know, their own pavement. It's very safe. We have an attendant up there that can assist them. If they're not sure where it goes, then you say, hey, this goes here. We've got, we take scrap metal up there, white goods, refrigerators, stoves, but we also take C&D waste, which is demolition and construction waste.
Right.
And we also take garbage as well, obviously.
I want to make a point that the attendant there does a great job.
They
He's
do.
not there to help unload.
Exactly.
He's not there to help unload.
That's exactly right. And, you know, he, a lot of times, obviously that's a very busy site.
Oh, yeah.
You've got people that are bringing metal and washers and dryers and a little shingles and some trash. And so he's constantly back and forth. It's a pretty big site and there's a lot of boxes up there for him to monitor. So, you know, he's trying to keep up with it. Now, sometimes if, you know, if it's a little slower, then it's not as hectic on him. But a lot of times between trying to keep up with our recycled carpet and we've got, you know, a closed trailer and we, you know, there's a lot there for him to look after. So he does an excellent job, but he's not going to have time to stay with you very long.
That's right.
Before he has to move on and get with the next customer.
You mentioned recycling carpeting. That's a big one. You recycle tires. That's very big.
Yes, yes. Tires is, you know, before we had the recycling, the tire recycling program, one, we got them in the waste a lot, which is a problem. Because I don't care how you try to bury them, a tire will always work itself back to the top.
Yeah.
So you're fighting, you know, you're fighting with tires all the time. That used to be a big headache for us, you know, to make sure we could get rid of. But a lot of times you would see them, loads of them in the woods, farm paths beside the road. But since we started this program, especially the way we have it now, years ago we had a enclosed trailer. You brought them in and we stacked them out. We actually had to, you know, stack them in the trailer. But the way we have it now, we've got a tire bunker and a machine. We top load them in open top trailers. So you just back up and you throw them in that bunker. So it's a lot easier. That's one thing that's helped us. But that helps keep people from, you know, throwing them in the woods or in the farm paths or whatever. It doesn't cost you anything. You can just load them up and bring them to us and we'll handle them in a proper way. So that's, and that's something else too. And they're taking them and they're grinding them and they're making playground mulch or mulch to go around your flower bed or whatever. But they're using boiler fuel, but they're using them in a positive way, you know, instead of, you know, just throwing them on the ground somewhere. I mean, it can be used. So that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. I, once in a while, driving around Wayne County, I will see things that have been thrown out where somebody not knowing that they could actually bring it here to the landfill and free of charge just unload it here without having to break the law, without having to dirty the landscape.
Exactly.
There are a lot of free things that people can bring here, but what are some of the things that you cannot let in for free that you actually charge to bring into the landfill?
Well, really, if anything out of your home, furniture,
That's
your
recyclable.
refrigerator,
That's recyclable.
washer, dryer,
Recyclable.
any of your electronics. You know,
Recycle.
we have electronics trailers set at not all our sites, but the sites we have room for it. All of that stuff out of your home. A lot of things I see on is furniture. That's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Just sofa, recliner thrown out on the
I
side
see
of the
that.
road.
Yeah.
Or washer, dryer, tires. We just touched on tires. All that you can bring to us absolutely free.
No charge.
There's no charge
just
for that.
bring it in.
Just bring it in. I mean,
You drive up to the scale and you say,
That's
I've
right.
got a sofa and
when
chair.
you say I've got a sofa and a chair, that we're going to take the weight because the state wants to know how much tonnage we're putting in the landfill each year. So we keep up with the tonnage, but that doesn't mean we're going to charge you. They're going to say, okay, go up there to the attendant up here on our site, and he's going to tell you which box to put it in, and it's just that simple.
You're on your way.
If it's a washer or dryer, same thing. You go up there, you're not going to be charged anything at all. It's completely free. It's covered, and I wish people would utilize that because like I said, it is free, and I know sometimes it could be a little bit of a drive for you to get here, but we've got most of our large sites, like on the north end, we've got Rosewood, Patetown, Pikeville, for instance. They'll take your furniture, they'll take your metal, whatever it might be. It could be an old lawnmower, it could be a bicycle, or it could be what we refer to as white goods, which is any appliances you have. So as well as your electronics,
any kind of metal,
any
kind of furniture. What about yard waste?
Yard waste is a different animal.
Different animal.
We can't put yard waste on the C&D area anymore. So when the state changed all the rules, then we do charge for yard waste. If it's over a certain size, then we can put it on the clean field, but or C&D area.
Yeah.
But if it's not, then we cannot.
Okay.
You know.
But you have to charge for that.
Yeah.
But there's so much that you do not charge for.
That's right. That's right. And and you can obviously with our sites, you could take all your recyclables for free. Any of your plastic bottle, thing that's obviously you take your garbage there for free.
Right.
We just ask that you separate them. Obviously, we do recycling in Wayne County, and we have for the last 20 years.
And in fact, you used to have to separate aluminum cans from tin cans.
We did. We used to have to separate our plastics.
Oh yeah.
But as the recyclers, the vendors that are processing these recyclables, as their processes have changed, then we don't have to be as particular. Like you said, aluminum and steel cans used to be separate.
Right.
But we don't have to do that anymore. They run it through a machine, it's got a magnet, and it separates
pulls them out.
So that helps us, and that helps everyone when that's one more bin they don't have to have. With our plastics, the same way. It's just worked out now where when they get to the MRF that's going to handle these recyclables, they have them processed that they can separate them there.
So we have 13 convenience centers, and at each one of those centers, anybody can bring paper, a metal cans or any kind of metal, and plastics.
That's right.
And recycled oil out of their automobile.
That's right.
And batteries.
I do want to say we have recycled oil, motor oil, used motor oil. We also have recycled cooking oil.
Ah, okay. I didn't know.
And a company picks that up and they're making biodiesel out of it. But we do have to stress when you get to the site and you're bringing your oils, if you have motor oil, we have to make sure you get in touch with the site attendant and make sure we put our cooking oil in the correct container.
Okay.
If they put a gallon of motor oil in our cooking oil, it's contaminated. They can't use it.
It's no good.
So if I've got 200 gallons of cooking oil that I'm fixing to have them come pick up,
Yeah.
and somebody sneaks in with a gallon of motor oil and pours it in the container, they won't pick it up.
That's no good.
So now I've got 200 gallons worth of contaminated cooking oil,
Right.
and we have to call somebody like a hazardous waste company to come in and pump it out for us. So we have to be real careful about that. We try to keep them locked where the attendant has to go. You kind of have to ask the attendant, and we're not trying to be hard to get along with, or we don't want to impede your progress there at the site, because then everybody's got things they need to do. But sometimes we have to just really be particular, because it can obviously it's expensive if you mess that up, where we can't recycle it. then it has to be treated really as hazardous waste. It's really not, but nobody wants it, so they're the only ones to take it, so.
I understand
And obviously that costs us money, so
Well,
we really,
you have to do that, though. You don't have
Yeah.
any choice.
that's right.
Contaminated, if it's contaminated, you
Yeah,
can't be used.
the oil
It's no
folks,
good.
you know, the motor oil folks don't want it because it's got cooking oil in it. The oil folks don't want it because it's got motor oil in it. And there's no way to separate it,
Yeah.
so, you know.
All right, well, let me ask you a couple of more things here, because we are
Okay.
going long here, and I could go for hours about this. But let me ask you about the hazardous waste,
Mm-hmm.
particularly hazardous household waste. Now, that includes so many different kinds of things. We're talking about paints, we're talking about cleaning supplies.
Right.
What are we talking about?
Household hazardous waste is, like you said, it could be paint. We don't take any liquids here
Right.
at the landfill, so that's obviously a time we can take paint.
Right. And you do this twice a year?
We do,
Twice a year, you set aside a day that you can take hazardous waste.
that's right.
And
And I have to get you the dates, so
that's
wait
okay.
on that.
That's okay.
But what we do, we have a company come in, we'll take bids, and, you know, we'll get the cheapest guys that year that'll work with us. And we bring them in, and they normally will have a couple people with them. And we also have a couple of our staff will be with them.
Mm-hmm.
And the cars will come in, they unload you. You just pull over there, they'll get it unloaded. And they have their truck here, so it's put directly on their truck for them to handle. But it could be, like you said, it could be Drano, cleaner, anything that you don't want to pour on the ground, and you don't want to pour down the drain. You do not want to do that. You only just wait. We have a household hazardous day. Come in, drop it off with us. We'll make sure it gets taken care of and handled correctly. If you have like a lot of people in the county have septic tanks, you're not, you pour that in your septic tank and it's going to get in your yard,
That's right.
and it's just not a good thing. So don't do that. Bring it to us and we'll make sure it gets disposed of properly. But yeah, I mean, we've got mercury, and we've got jars of mercury. We've got
Good Lord,
all
have you
sorts
really?
that people have just had. They may be cleaning up their dad's garage,
Oh,
or
yeah.
and he's had a jar of it sitting in there it's been there 50 years, and they'll bring it out. And of course, when you get a call like that, you absolutely want them to bring it to you.
Yes.
And
It's extremely dangerous.
It's very dangerous. So, and that's the reason we have the people that know that industry and what they're dealing with come in with us, because you could get something. Some of the stuff some of the acids and some of it you have to be really careful, because you don't want to mix. You don't want to put it over there next to this other chemical
That's
that
right.
could react.
And
You want to make sure you know what you're doing. So, and the guys that we have that help from the department, all of them know some about. They've took the basic courses on to know a little about it. But these guys are experts we bring in, so we want to make sure everybody's safe. That's the reason you just show us what you have. They'll look at it, make a determination what container it needs to go in. And they do all the companies do a great job, but that's what they do. But they're a great benefit to us to make sure we don't, have a mistake, end up, causing an issue. So
Yeah. How long have you been the director here?
10 years,
And you've been working here how long?
32 years.
32 years you've been employed in the solid waste department.
Yeah.
Tell me about your staff. How many people you have here? We
have 62 people in all, but we have about 23 that work here at the landfill. All our folks are really passionate about what we do. And even though, and it's completely understandable, most people don't think about what we do. We're out here, outside of Goldsboro, and, but it's important what we do,
It's very important.
and
It's very important.
I want to do it the best, most efficient way we can, and you cannot do that if your people haven't bought on to that. So all our people do an excellent job, and I couldn't say enough about my staff. Most of our folks have been here almost as long as I have. We do not have much of a turnover rate at all. I think we try to show everyone that we do appreciate the job they do, but they do an excellent job, and they make sure that that everybody coming in and in the nicest way we can to try to teach the folks coming in, whether it be a commercial hauler or an individual, why it's important to do the things we do. We're not trying to make your life difficult, but there's some things that have to be done a certain way for the department to run the way it does. And we it used to, you say, we're going to go to the dump, and we've really worked hard to change people's attitude on that. We don't consider ourselves a dump. We're a sanitary landfill.
You're not a dump.
We're not a dump. I mean, and we worked hard when people drive in the gate. We don't want them to look at it and say, man, this is the dump. And if you drove in our gate, I don't know if you would know what we did if you didn't drive to the back.
Exactly.
So that's what we want. Yeah. We want things to be as neat and clean as possible. And I think that helps when the public comes in, or if it's, like I said, if it's a commercial hauler, so hey, they've taken pride in this place. They tried to keep it clean and neat. So it's kind of it kind of plays forward to the folks coming in and say, that's their attitude. I'm going to try to have the same attitude. Obviously, they care about it, and for the most part, everybody has bought into it, and it's worked out well.
I'll tell you, Tim. To me, this is anything but a dump. This is actually, I think all of Wayne County should be extremely proud of our landfill area and all the convenience sites and all the work you and your staff do. My experience with here has always been that when I come here, this looks like a show place. This looks like the ideal solid waste facility. This is the way it should look. And your staff, let me tell you, your staff, I have always had a extremely polite response. They're extremely considerate, and they're most helpful, and they're all very professional in what they do. And I think we should all be very proud of the work you've done and the work that they do here.
Well, I appreciate that, and like I said, I think that I think all of our folks are that way, and we do talk about that all the time. We want to treat people like we want to be treated, and we want to try to be as polite as we can. Sometimes we may not be able to tell you what you want to hear, because some things we may not be able to take, or we may have to wait till we can take them till we have an event. But we still try to explain it in the most kind way we can, and hopefully you can understand. And for the most part, that's exactly what happens. We very seldom we have any kind of issues as far as that. But when we have, whether it's our site attendants or our people on the field, we always want them to be courteous and kind to the people coming in. They're our customers just like any other business,
Exactly.
Even though they're citizens. I mean, I look at them as customers, and we need to treat them like that. I mean, they're the reason we're here. So we want to try to help them. If they've got an issue and they call it, we're going to try every way we can to assist with the issue they've got. Sometimes, it may take us a little while to get it solved, depending on what time of year it is or whatever. But that's what we're here for. I don't want anybody to call in and say, well, I called down there, I've got this issue, and they don't have an answer for me. I mean, if they've got a solid waste question, I've got to get rid of something. We need to have an answer. So, well, hey, if you'll do this, we can help you there. Because you don't want them to sit over there and say, well, you know what, if they're not helping out, I'm going to go pour it in the backyard, or I'm going to go dump it here or there. We just don't want that.
All right, so what's the phone number here?
The phone number here is 919-689-2994. That's our office number.
689-2994.
Yeah.
And we're in southern Wayne County, just off Highway 13, or close to 13, which isn't too far from the fairgrounds.
It's not too far from the fairgrounds at all. And if anybody has any questions, I mean, just call that number. We've got a staff here. We can get you to who you need to talk with on whatever question you have, and that's what we're here for. So give us a call.
Tim Rogers is director of the Solid Waste Department for the County of Wayne, and we've been talking to Tim today. And Tim, thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you, Wayne.
All right. We are back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. A quick reminder, as I have just been reminded, that the cutoff date for wreaths across America has been extended to December 1. For $15, you get to you get to make a $15 donation, and when you do, a wreath will be given and placed on the cemetery site, the grave site of a Wayne County veteran who's passed. Now, the cutoff date again is December 1, and if you can help, $15 is all it takes. $15 to donate and get a wreath placed on the grave of a Wayne County veteran. If you want to have your wreath placed on somebody in particular, on their grave, then you can do that too. You just need to talk to Tanya Tucker, and she is the person to talk to about this. She's at, you can write to 204 Creekside Drive, Goldsboro. But the better way to do it, and to make a donation, is to go to GoldsboroWreaths.com. GoldsboroWreaths.com. It's plural. I would say wreaths, but for some reason that just doesn't sound right. It's wreaths. Huh? What? Okay. Anyway, GoldsboroWreaths.com, and do this no later than December 1. Okay? What's next?
I know you've probably noticed when you've been out and about during your Black Friday shopping or your Small Business Saturday shopping, you saw the little red kettles out.
Oh yeah, Salvation Army.
Yes. It's that time of the year where they are out and they're asking for donations to help citizens. This money also stays in Wayne County?
Stays in Wayne County. And I don't know about you, but every time I hear that bell ringing, and whether I'm at a store or regardless of where I am, I always give something. Sometimes it's more than other times, but whatever I give, I always give something to the red kettle with the bell jingling, whether it's at one of the major stores or wherever it is. I always give something. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. Every little bit helps. Because across the country, this is all going on across the country, all that money adds up and it helps those in need. Salvation Army has been doing this for a number of years, over 100 years. So it's that time of year when you need to dig deep and give to the Salvation Army. That money stays here in Wayne County. Sure does.
So when you make your purchase, as you're walking out the store, just hold what your change is and just drop it in.
Exactly, and they take paper money too. Just want to get that across. I've never had paper money rejected. They take that, and if you want to put change in there, that's fine. Whatever you feel like doing, just put something in the kettle.
Just to hear that change cling into
that's a pretty sound, and they do appreciate it very much.
That's right. This Saturday is a big day.
You know what? Salvation Army can always use volunteer bell ringers.
That is true.
They need people to help with this. And you don't have to spend all day and all night out there. Spend whatever time you can. But they need volunteer bell ringers. I'm not sure, but I believe... No, that's the Family Y. I can't... 734-1148. If that's the wrong number, apologize to those people for me.
Why don't you just visit redkettlevolunteer.org?
You know, that makes a lot of sense.
And you can sign up today. Today.
Redkettlevolunteer.org.
That's right.
Redkettlevolunteer.org. Good. Okay. What else do we have, Bubba?
Okay, as I was saying,
Yes,
Saturday, December the 2nd, is a big day.
Big day.
We have 3 Christmas parades. 3. We start out at Mount Olive at 10 o'clock.
At 10.
We come to...
Pikeville?
Nope. Fremont at 1 o'clock.
I meant to say Fremont.
And then...
Don't kick me under the table. She kicked me.
And then we come to Goldsboro at 4 o'clock, where we will have 2 guests. Do we have 2 guests?
We have 2 guests, 2 co-hosts. That would be the lovely and talented Kate Daniels and the lovely and talented Kurt Keller. Anyway, those 2 will present to you the Goldsboro Christmas Parade. They'll be in the City of Goldsboro City Hall, right in front of City Hall, there on the steps, City Hall, and we'll be presenting to you the spectator, if you will, the Goldsboro Christmas Parade as it takes off at 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
4 in the p.m. Oh yeah. And that will be at the beginning. At the beginning, it'll be at 4 p.m. By the time it gets around to City Hall, it'll be a little after 4.
That's
So
true.
it has to weave its way around. It has to serpentine. Serpentine.
Okay, you got anything else?
I have the answer to the day's trivia question. Which president had a pair of raccoons as pets who lived in the White House with him? It was Horace and Rebecca. No, that was the raccoons. Raccoon Horace and Raccoon Rebecca lived in the White House with Calvin Coolidge. Silent Calvin Coolidge had a pair of. But now he's not the only one with unusual pets. One had a hippopotamus as a pet. One had, and cows were not uncommon. They had to get their milk somewhere for the White House. Someone actually had an alligator. One of the presidents had an alligator. I'm not making this up. This is a fact. That's it for today.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and watch us on YouTube at Wayne County Government.
So until we get back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Pat Garner.
And this is Sunrise with Wayne and Pat.